improv as well?
Not teaching, but I've done, I'd say about a live show per month on average since the
Oh,
pandemic
cool.
started. So,
Ah, so
you know,
you're a pro at this now.
yeah, yeah, let's go with that.
Well, I will tell us. I'm gonna bring us on Facebook. I'll tell you how many suggestions we have, and then just pick a number,
Sounds great.
and then we just from there we just go. Like we don't, you don't have to turn off your camera or anything. We just like hit it and run, and then afterwards, I like finding out people's like how they got into improv.
Cool.
So stick around for a little combo after that. And
Okay.
you're in L.A. or San Francisco, right?
Yeah, I'm in SF.
Are you originally born and raised in
Nope.
the?
Nope, I'm from the DC area,
Ah, cool.
Washington,
And
DC, yeah.
what brought you? What brought you out to San Francisco?
I got tired of living in one place my whole life, wanted to see what it was like somewhere else, and fell in love. So, not going back.
And how long? When did you move out? How long is was that?
It was 2013, so
Okay.
coming up on 7 years.
Oh yeah, I moved from Chicago to LA 5 years ago,
All
and
right,
same thing.
nice.
I born and raised Chicago, and then came out here. I was like, yeah, I'm not. I appreciate Chicago, but I'm not gonna go back. I like it
Yeah,
here.
thanks for the memories.
Yeah, right. It's like good knowing you. See you later. Take
Yep.
your enjoy your winter, Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that stuff anymore. We have 31 suggestions.
31
Yeah,
suggestions.
yeah. So
All
pick a
right.
number.
Let's go with number 8.
All right, good old number eight. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. This comes from Iain Luke Jones. Um, Here's our suggestion, man. I'm getting, I'm getting really good at the Welsh language.
All right.
Thanks, thanks, Ian.
Thanks, Ian. Thank you.
Ah, gleich dies. Ah, ja, so. Gleich nicht. Gleich noch. Ah, gleich. Ah, gleich is wel. Hier maar zeg maar trouwt je zo.
Jagen bis
Ah,
Schrep.
sorry?
Schrep.
Ah, sorry. Ja, 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 ja. Zet er bij zo'n schrijf. Ja, dat klaar. Zo, op zo'n schrijf.
Ich schrijf zo plekelijk.
Ah, zo blijklijks.
Ja.
Ah, zo, ja, dat is wel weg, zeg zo. En gaan mensen gaan, het is wel. Je kan ook crash geluid of die flaxes gaan.
Flashje klaar?
Flashcacao, 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 flashcama, flashcacao, flashcacao, flashcacao,
Flash cacao.
flashcacao,
Flash cacao.
flashcacao.
Flash cacao. All right, great. That's 20 seconds of eye contact, and now we're ready to begin.
Wow, that seemed like a short time and a long time at the same time.
It always does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We find that the longer you're doing one focused task, the shorter the amount of time seems to take.
Mm.
But at the end, it seems like it took a really long time.
Yeah, it took, I mean, it's strange. It felt like the right amount of time, but I couldn't tell you exactly until you said it was 20 seconds. I could not have told you if it was 5 seconds, 20 seconds, or an hour. It just seemed like time kind of disappeared in a way, but I know it was happening. I don't know if that sounds strange or not, but that's just how I felt.
No, no, that's you're feeling something real. That's the time disappearance is kind of what we're going for.
Okay.
We want 5 seconds to feel like 45 seconds, but we also
Okay.
don't want you to be thinking about how many seconds it took, you know?
That's yeah, it's
Right?
funny. I was trying to tell myself, don't think, don't think, don't think, don't count, and I started counting. I'm like, just stop counting, just stop, just
Yeah.
be. That's
You
my
know,
problem is I can't just be, and I want to just be.
you want to just be?
Yeah.
Well, don't be counting. And then you can be anything else but counting.
Wow. Wow. It's such a simple directive, but it's wow. Don't be
It's a
counting.
freebie. It took me 10 years to learn that lesson. I gave it to you for free.
Wow. You're right. I mean, I count everything. I count everything positive and negative. I count my blessings. I count how
Ooh.
many steps I have to get to work.
Oh, no.
Yeah, my whole life is about counting. I mean, I chose a profession where my daily task is counting. Like I'm an accountant, and so
Oh,
there's
wow.
counting is almost in the name of accountant. Like
It's
count,
pretty close.
I
Yeah.
mean, count is in the name, and counting is in the name. So
Mm.
wow,
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a
I've
lot of counting.
I've formed my own prison.
What will it take to break you free? I have an idea.
Yeah, anything.
Take any device that you use that enables your counting habit
Okay, I've got my. I mean, the first thing I thought of is my watch that my grandfather gave me.
and just put it in a room that you don't use.
Well, I've got an unfinished basement that I mean, I don't use it for anything right now.
Now, unfinished basements, they never get finished. Much like counting never gets finished.
What? My God, unfinished basement. I mean, I've had that house for 16 years now, and I've never finished that basement. What I bought it because the real estate agent said, "And there's an unfinished basement that you can finish someday," and I've just never done that.
Another thing to count, undone.
And I find that I am disappointed by that. I'm counting on that to happen. It's not wow.
Have you thought of considering it just a basement, regardless of the status of its finishment?
Not until this moment.
Ooh. Mm.
You're blowing my mind here. Wait, you're blowing my mind. It's already finished, even though it's unfinished.
Whatever
It's the,
state it's currently in, it's finished being in that state.
so it is a finished basement.
Depends what you want in a basement, my friend. To me, a basement's just a room underneath the house. It's already finished achieving that goal.
Why am I trying to make that basement more than what it is and not appreciate? That's what I'm trying to do for myself. I'm
Have you
trying to
asked
make
the
myself.
basement
I'm an
what you
unfinished
want?
basement.
Have you asked yourself what you want? Or are you the basement in your own life?
I think I'm the basement. And I don't want to be finished.
You, my friend, are the attic. Have you ever heard the term unfinished attic?
Never.
Neither have I. And
And
I've lived in 3 houses.
wow. You I mean it's never been clearer for me than right now. I mean that is who I am. I'm striving to be something I'm not. See, I want to be the basement, but you showed me I'm the attic.
You're the attic all along.
I mean, it feels like there's a weight that's been lifted off my shoulders and my back and just weights like my head, everything. It just feels like I'm lighter right now.
And you floated from the basement through the first floor, through the second floor.
And that's where I belong.
That's where you belong, my friend. People spend their whole lives trying to reach the attic.
I've been there this whole time. I can just let it go. I don't have to count on anything anymore.
No, you don't.
I've completed my counting.
We reached the final number.
The final number is me.
That's what I was gonna say.
I don't know if I can put into words what this has done for me.
Don't try.
I mean, if,
I think you're ready for this next step.
yeah,
Words
yeah.
are another way to count.
I see. I'm going to let that go.
There was an ancient Welsh scholar who said, the reason our language has 0 vowels is because we don't want people counting that high when they speak.
It all makes sense now. You're going to stop. I'm going to stop chasing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Prakanaka.
Blakanaka.
Mm-hmm.
Scene. Dude, what a fucking ride, man. I loved it. I don't think I've done one that had that closure like that, starting and ending, man. I loved it.
That was awesome.
That was so great. I love like knowing that you're there with me and whatever's going to happen, it's not like anything's going to be strange. It's like, no, 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 this is the world and we just play that world.
This is it.
Ah,
Yeah.
dude, how did you get into improv? Like, what made you start taking classes or doing shows?
Oh man, so I actually came up, started out doing stand-up comedy back in 2011, 2012, and then enjoyed performing, loved the audience interaction more than anything else, and then realized that at the end of the day, I came home, I was by myself, and then I was like, I did that thing all by myself,
Yeah.
and there was still something missing, and so I, watched a bunch of improv as well, and like followed, famous improvisers, etc., and then realized that like, oh, there's a team element that is so cool, and there's so much room for just play interaction, and then every person you improvise with, it'll be different, and even the same people you improvise with, it'll be different every single time.
Yeah.
And so I started taking classes in about 2014, 2015, and the rest is history.
Wow. And like when you were younger, were you an athlete, a musician, anything like that when you were younger?
Yeah, I dabbled in everything, and I wasn't good at any of it. So I wasn't a good athlete. I was a terrible musician. I was decent on stage. And so it was like really just like doing theater and like the ensemble of that, plus the little bit of the team sport, or like mostly watching from the bench, being like, those guys look like they're having so much fun out there playing like a team.
I want to do that one day.
That looks cool. Yeah, I should really try this soccer thing out one day as I'm sitting on the bench in my full uniform.
Well, I do think like you like having that recognition of, oh, the way that that group's working together, that seems really cool. I think definitely lends itself to now like you're doing is improvising and having the like I can tell you've got performing experience, and like that you did stand up makes sense because there is an element of calmness and confidence that a lot of stand-ups have because they've been on stage and they've been able to ride that storm during like if you're doing something that's not connecting with the audience or even if you are, you're able to understand that. And so I think improvisers could benefit from a little bit of that, where it's like, oh, take a breath, everything's gonna be okay, understand what your persona is, and just take it one moment at a time.
Yeah, and just trust it. Just ride it out and trust it. Like that's really the big lesson there, I think. It's like that's why I feel calm when I'm performing. Is just whatever happens happens and it's fine.
Were you always like that? Because that's someplace, dude. That's someplace a lot of performers try to get to is that place, and some never get to it. But do you think that was somewhere inside of you where you're like, oh, cool, you've got a temperament to just kind of ride things out, or do you think it's something you learned as you went?
I think it's something that I've had for as long as I can remember, just like being a kid and just loving when, I was like the oldest kid born, around like my aunts and uncles. And so I had all of their attention for a bunch of years until my sister, whose actually birthday is today, was born and took some of that attention away. But I think just like I'm comfortable with all the eyes on me, and it's really weird. Like I know that not a lot of people have that, and like you're saying, people like aim for that, but it feels natural, and I don't know if that's like indication of poor mental health, but definitely serves me in improv.
I don't know, man. I know that. I mean, a lot of people are so. It's the old Seinfeld bit, right? Of like people would rather be in the casket than give the eulogy. So like
Yes.
that, he's like the fear of public speaking is number two after, or number one before death. Death is number two fear. And
Yeah,
I do think that there are people who like have no problem being out in front of the public. I think there are people that learn to do that, and then I think there are people that are just terrified to do it. And you kind of fall into one of those camps. And I think performing and taking improv will definitely help you be more comfortable with
hmm
it. But I also think there are some people that are just like fearless in that regard of like, yeah, okay, I'll go up on, I'll do it. I have no idea what's going to happen, but
yeah.
it'll be fine.
But I think anybody in any of those camps can do it.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing is that yes, it's terrifying, but you can still do it, and fundamentally, like most audiences want you to succeed, so they're
Yes.
rooting for you. Like
Yes.
that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand. They're like, oh, they're just waiting for me to like fall on my face. It's like, no, you've been to a show that like that's happened at, and it feels awkward,
Yeah.
right? And not everybody's like, a Curb Your Enthusiasm fan and loves and lives for those awkward moments. But
Well, but nobody goes to a show going, I hope this sucks. I hope this comedy show sucks.
yeah, exactly.
The-
I paid $10 and this better suck.
I hope they struggle. I hope they're not good. You know what? They've got to earn me. I've already paid money, but they still got to win me over. It's like, no, I think they're there already set to have a good time.
Yep. I totally agree.
I had a friend say, I steal this line all the time. They said, the audience comes to fall in love with you, so let them.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I like that.
And it's like when you get on a stage, you're like 30% more attractive. It's like some strange thing. Just being up in front of people raises that level. Sometimes improvisers make choices that are like they keep them 30% dumber. So it's
Mhm.
like don't make those choices to bring that down. But like you walk on stage, you get applause. You leave stage, you get applause. No matter what happens, you're always guaranteed that applause sandwich. So whatever happens in between, they're there for you if you just let them enjoy the ride.
Absolutely. And then the downfall is don't analyze that applause too much.
No, that's how I get paid. That's my self worth,
That is. Oh, yeah.
right? And I mean, it's so true. It's like appreciate it, but it doesn't mean anything in the scheme of things. Like you could do a show. I've done shows where you leave in the audience, it's thunderous applause, and you walk off stage. You're like, really?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
show?
Yeah. We've all had that.
Okay.
Like, if you say so. But you should have seen last week. Last week was
Oh,
like
we crushed it.
so much. Oh, it was like we were making connections that you wouldn't even imagine.
You wouldn't get it, dude. You just wouldn't get it.
And the audience didn't like it that last week either.
No,
That's how it
uh,
is.
we've had those shows right where you're like, fuck, I thought the connections were great. We did this great. We if it was a form, you're like, oh, the form was great, but like it just for some reason that night didn't connect. And
Yep.
the hardest thing one of the hardest things I've had to do is after a show, if I felt like it wasn't good or I felt I wasn't good, the
hmm
hardest thing I had to do was sit there as people went, hey, great show, and just go, oh, thanks.
Thank you. Yeah,
It's
appreciate it.
right. It's like, oh, thanks a lot. All right, okay. I would always, the first like 2 years, my friends would come see me after a show. I would say, oh, I'm sorry. Like I would apologize
Yeah.
before they said anything.
hmm
because I was expecting them to say it was bad, and they were like, "No, man, we enjoyed it. Stop apologizing for your shows."
Yeah, it's a hard reflex to get over. I mean, it's just like I don't know, maybe it's a good thing to have that level of humility as well, just to be like, but I think it's taken to an extreme sometimes where you shouldn't be apologizing before anybody says anything, right?
Right? Oh, dude, they would come like this,
Yeah.
and I'd go, "Yeah, I'm sorry," and they're like, "No, we had a fun time." So now I've ruined their yeah, I've ruined their time. I've told them with my look, "Well, you're wrong."
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, no, man, they enjoyed it. That you made them laugh. Who gives a shit if you didn't do the form or whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Um, where can people, if they want to check you out, follow you on social media, or if they want to see shows or whatever, what's the best way they can do that?
Oh man, my social media presence is very little. I'm like one of those lurkers where I'm like I look at it a lot, but I don't post very often. But if you want to follow at MP Ashkar on Instagram, that's the place I'm most likely to post. So that might happen. And then I perform with Leela most of the time in San Francisco, and I have an upcoming show next Saturday, August 8th at I believe 8 p.m. Pacific.
Oh, and it's great. And as a matter of fact, Jill, like, I think Jill connected us and said,
Yeah, that's right.
and it was so great. She's like, "Oh, I think you'd get along, and I think you have a similar style and energy." And I thank her so much for connecting us because this was
Oh
great,
yeah,
and I can't wait till we play again, whether it's like virtual or in person.
can't wait either. Looking forward to it.
All right, my friend, thank you so much for taking time out. This was awesome.
Oh, thanks, Jay. Appreciate it.
See you, buddy.